You know, that's kind of what happened. Like, the reason is like persecutors of the faith, you know, or persecutors of God. You know, for my life specifically, the reason I was gradually and progressively made like aggressive, you feel me? It's kind of like how it was like with dog fighting. You know, upon the beginning, it had been witnessed, you know, like the power that God had, like the blessing God had put on my life. And it was for all good, you know. I mean, I don't know whether people at the time, you know, felt like I was for evil, or they just knew I was for good, and then they didn't care, you know. But either way, I was made like, they like gradually made, like tried to make me like aggressive or combative for an excuse to kill me for my talent, you feel me? And that's what happened. You know, it was to make me into something that they wanted me to be, because they knew, because of the blessing of God they saw in my life, that I was bigger than that whole reality. You feel me? They knew I was greater than that whole tradition. You feel me? They understood that. They knew I was something more and something different than what already was. And then, you know what I'm saying? So it was like a way of, you know, like hinging my life on a reality that, or to send me in, or to like just lead me and trap me in a direction, you know what I'm saying, for my future, the one that would be detrimental to me and my preservation in the earth. You know, just pretty much try to make me into something that it would be for a reason, that you know, some try to make me into something that where they would have a reason to destroy me. You know, that's what happened. So they would have a reason to destroy me. They tried to like gradually turn me into something that would justify them destroying me, you know what I'm saying, without a cause. Misunderstand my words and twist it up. But the problem is, God is too clear. You know what I'm saying? When they backtrack on my stuff, they see I embrace the scripture the whole time. So it's impossible to mistake the scripture. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a long time. You know. So what happened was, when I got attacked, and when the structures became aware of that attack, you know, for a prolonged amount of time, like decades or whatever, and it became like interfused into fabrics of society. And I can't say, I believe in my heart that God separated himself from the lands when he noticed that it would be impossible for me to complete my purpose. To be honest, that's when I think it happened. But God is so gracious and merciful that he just like tolerated all the way. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, he got, you know what I'm saying, it's cups in heaven. You feel me? It's like cups. And when they get full, you know what I'm saying, for particular places, then the judgment of God fall on them. You know, so I mean, God don't rush to do anything. But when he does do something, it's deliberate, irreversible, and absolute. You know, like there's no there's no partiality with God. You know. And of course, man, these kind of things are witness. Yeah, man, it's rough. But God's grace is more than sufficient for anybody who love the Lord. You know, all things work for the good of them that love the Lord, called according to his purpose. You know, just Bible verse you got to internalize in your heart, help you get through. And that's how I live, because got the scripture wrote down in the tablet in my heart. You know, but that's what happened though. You know, you had people trying to make me into something because they had already knew that they would exploit me for my skill. You know what I'm saying? They did some irreversible things to a child. You feel me? Something they ain't never been did, like, you know what I'm saying, ever. Man, that y'all crazy, man. But they didn't do it to me. They did it directly to God, the Most High. And he made that known that that's exactly who they did this to. I mean, I stand firm in my faith, though, till I can't no more, feel me? But, you know, but for as long as I'm in danger for my faith, because that's the real reason behind it, and my talent, then that's directly proportional to where society stands with God. You know, it's that simple. Situation, I mean, anybody got to do backtrack, you know what I'm saying? See what kind of man I am, what I stood for the whole time. I mean, I ain't had nothing. From my quotes to these recordings to my poetry, all of it me. You know, man, it's made impossible for me to survive in society. Feel me? Basically impossible, because you always go be stuck somewhere. You feel me? Like, as far as, like, in terms of the powerful, you know, man, I'm a servant of the Lord, you know, so I don't, you know, I'm a servant of the Lord. I follow the Lord, you know, and it's a lowly life of humbleness and humility. And that's what it's been the whole time. So, I mean, a lot of things I never saw, you know, or I never got, you know, certain levels of success I never saw and never will see, you know. But I got success, though, still, in the Lord, you know, in God. Because I know no matter what happened, I got an eternal portion that God assures for me in the kingdom. For in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I wouldn't have told you. You know, it's a Bible verse. And God always, you know, let me know in different ways that he got me, you know, like, regardless of how it goes. You know, I got something that those that hate me without a cause, you know, out of envy and all that, man, I got, no matter what they could do, I got something that they ain't got, you know. I mean, true enough, they did some like heavy stuff, you know, to my life, to where I can't bounce back from, you know. True enough, but in that same way, I got eternal, immortal portion that they'll never see, you know. If you ask me, that's more substantial, because it's like a good trade-off. For what I went through, I got something that they could never dream of attaining, and that's heaven. Feel me? But that's how it worked, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Heaven is forever, too. Just like hell is forever. You know? It's the opposite. They contrast. You know? So, I mean, I can deal with it, though. You know what I'm saying? God don't put no more on you than you could bear. Yeah, that's true. But you see, though, that this, you know, you see how it was intentionally designed to have my life at a certain point in time. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as at this point in time, you know what I'm saying, I was supposed to be disinvented. You see, gradually everything led up to this point. Think of any way possible to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is I'm standing for God. You know what I'm saying? The whole time. And the other problem is I'm also in a place that says, you know what I'm saying? So you see it's not compatible, that it's still possible. That's why they, you know what I'm saying? So it's real. It's like the weirdest thing, man. I'm telling you, like, it's like out of horror movie, you know what I'm saying? I mean, to me, it's not scary. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, God is with me. I mean, the Lord is my strength and my portion. But when you look at it and understand the full gravity of it, like everything from the tortures, you know what I'm saying, all the way to the endless harassment on my life, even when I was too young, you feel me? It's like everything combined is one of the most unnatural situations in the history of humanity, let alone for this country, but in the world. Like, and this happened in the country, you know. I don't know, it's wild. My faith still strong though, nonetheless.